Yo, what time is it? 4 minutes late. Oh, shoot. Oh, now we're live. Yeah. I was already talking. 4 minutes late. 4 minutes, 32 seconds late, but we're here. I'm back. Man, I need to stop this doing like 57 things back to back. See, in my old existence, I used to do like one thing per month. Like, I'd be like my retiree clients, like if they had a doctor's appointment, like in like February 26th, they were booked for the month of February and March. And so I need to be like that because I've been doing too much. We just got back from Tampa. We did Adam LZ's car. Man, Billy is legit, and Ryan is insane. The guy who did the PPF, just insane. Dan from Esoteric is awesome. This guy is, like next level. Now Dan's been doing it for a few years, and this guy's been doing it for 20 plus. Just incredible. So, yeah, it's been a whirlwind at Moderators weekend. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, lots of stuff on the docket today.
Yeah, we can talk about what did I say? Poor and stupid. We can talk about that a little bit, and see if we can get me to moderate on that.
All right, let's see here. I'm going to start with, since you probably didn't know this, but today's Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, and so someone wants to know, what are you getting your wife for Valentine's Day?
She bought herself some shoes.
There we go. There you go.
I don't like the whole Valentine's Day thing. It's like, why it's supposed to be an equal day, but it's not an equal day. It's bull crap. Right. It's some stupid crap that I have to do. I don't like that.
You should buy yourself some shoes.
I did. But not for Valentine's Day. I just bought them. The new Fronings. These are the new Froning Reeboks. They're awesome. You got to get some. I don't think I'd like working out in them as much, but I like...
comfy?
Yeah, they're great. And they look cool, too. That's key. Key for me is I'm all about looking good.
Right,
looking cool.
And you have a lunch date scheduled with Michelle. It's on your calendar. I don't know if you do that or not.
Yeah, I'm trying to get out of that.
Yeah. So hey to my wife Megan and my daughters Caroline and Harper. Happy.
You're a much better human than I am, Chris. This is for sure.
This is true. All right, so let's start. You mentioned Moderators weekend, and that was, you had lots of videos around the 1M and then the E92 as well. So what happened with Moderators weekend? How'd it go? What'd you do?
Man, the plan was to just chill. Here's what happens, and so I'm sure the guys that were there can relate. So we had Max, Brandon, Tony, Mike, and Shane, and then myself. So there were 6 of us working on. Sorry, the other moderators couldn't make it. The other, we have a bunch of them. So the other 14 or so, Ed and Nazario and Patrick and all, to forgive me if I'm, everybody that couldn't make it, but thanks to all the moderators for doing what they do and keeping our group elitist and always looking down on other people, as I've been told. No, keeping our group clean and organized as much as humanly possible with 24,000 people. So, the plan was to do Tavarish's new car that he hasn't revealed yet, but the plan was to detail that, but he couldn't get back in time, so I decided to do the 1M. And so, we called it the 1M bonanza of maintenance and detailing. We basically finished the 1M in a day and a half. We did coils, or coil packs, not coils, coil packs, painted the hubs, full multi-step correction, coating removal, PPF removal, the whole 9. So we knocked that out, and we were supposed to relax and hang out, and then we ended up doing the whole M3. We did the suspension and brakes, which are a huge project, sway bars, monoball mounts, the whole thing. Which is a massive project. But what tends to happen, this happens with me, and I'm sure many of you that are listening can relate. I don't know if you can relate to this, Chris, but when I start a project, it's like this overwhelming drive to want to quit and like just enjoy it, and a much heavier drive to finish and execute. And so what happens, I found, when you get a bunch of obsessed people that all have that same mindset together, we end up doing like 57 things more than we planned on doing, working till 10 a.m., skipping lunch and dinner kind of focus. So when you have 6 of us that I'm sure at different interims that each one of us wanted to just go watch a movie or hang out, and then the other person would pull the other person forward because that person wasn't ready to quit yet, and then you have this snowballing of a bunch of obsessed dudes just driving toward getting done whatever it is we decided to get done, and then in the midst of it adding things to it. And I, as stubborn and as tend to be in control as I am, I can't control that, both me and them. And so we get together and we feed on this energy of execution, and we end up doing a lot more than I planned, to the point where, we finished at like 10:30 on Sunday night, the M3, finished the project, finished the brakes and the suspension and everything, and we're exhausted. We didn't eat dinner, and Mike has to get up at 2 a.m. Shane has to get up at 5 a.m. to get to the airport, and so it was fantastic. Like Tony and Brandon and Max had to bail on Sunday. But how cool is this? Like, I'm gonna post a clip of this, of the first video that I put up, and you see, Brandon who knows, Tony and Mike and Shane, but Max, I think Max hadn't met Shane, or maybe he met Tony, so he hadn't met Shane, but I don't think Brandon and Max ever met, and Brandon picked him up from the airport, and it was like they were freaking best buddies from the beginning. It's just cool, man. I know I get I don't want to say accused, but I get there's this sense of, we're using people and they're coming here and we're getting free labor and all this crap that people make up. But if you're here, and I hope the guys feel this that came, it's just awesome. I mean, I'm just creating a project for us to do. I mean, it's not about me getting something done. I mean, I'd gladly do it myself, but it's way more fun when you do it with a bunch of your buddies, Right. That's what it's about. And so that's what we did. And so I kind of let them dictate, what do we want to do? And everybody wanted to do the brakes on the M3, so we did the brakes on the M3, and I'm creating the projects. And, and then the videos are tricky because I'm trying to manage all the people and trying to manage the video and capturing it, because I think it's worthwhile to share, and because I think it's interesting. So if I think it's interesting, maybe some others do, and so what ends up happening is I end up doing very little because I'm chasing everybody around with the camera, and then the other thing is, why would I kick Mike out of the way when he's way better at doing anything that I would be doing? And he's just going to want to push me out of the way anyway. Or, like I had, Shane working on, with the steamer and working with the ONR, or Tony stepping in and helping the 2 younger guys fix some stuff. It's like, why would I push them out of the way and want to do it worse than what they're clearly more talented than I am. Each one has their own set of talents. So why would I push them out of the way when my skill set is to manage the project and try to be the host, which is a bit foreign to me. It feels foreign, but apparently it's what I'm suited for, is to project manage the thing, because my hands to brain are not nearly as good as my just brain to mouth is, apparently. So that's the experience. Is freaking awesome.
Yeah, so those videos are up now.
I've got a few more to do to finish the 1M. I had the footage, so I was working through the 1M stuff, and Bryce didn't have the footage, and I left for Tampa, and so Bryce put we kind of skipped ahead and did the M3 videos. So I think I probably have 2 or maybe 3 more of the 1M to share the rest of the project, painting the hubs and coating it, and I don't forget what else we, putting spacers on that I now have to take back off again because they don't fit, and so we and the downpipe install, the detuning it with the Cobb tune, reflashing it, so doing all that stuff. I still have to do the videos, and then so we'll probably have the rest of those up by the end of the weekend.
And then there was one video that was mixed in there. We've talked about this here a few times, about OGHQ version 3.0. And as someone who sees all the incoming email, I can say that's probably outside of maybe the ones where you've talked about your struggle with OCD. That got the most response. We had people volunteering and 50 plus emails of people just saying, here's a suggestion, or how can I help? And so kind of what's the latest on OGHQ?
So there's this massive push-pull that I'm feeling right now. There's this push from people that buy in, and they get the message. They understand the message. They either want to be a part of the message, they want to watch the message, they want to contribute to it, whatever. And there's waves of people that come and go, right? There's waves that come and are real hot and heavy over supporting, and then maybe I'm like a bull in a china shop. I'll say something to make those people go away, not intentionally. It's just the way I do things. I guess it's just my personality. I'm like a wave of disaster at all times. So I tend to have this attraction and then repulsion that tends to happen. And so the HQ brings up, or the reason I share this stuff selfishly is to figure it out and to get information from those experts that exist. And so I put it out there, and I'm open to feedback. Now, I don't always do everything, and I get accused at times of being stubborn and I only do it my way, which is true. I mean, it's my life, it's my business. I'm going to make the decision. But there are people in this process that have skill sets that I want to pull from. Some people I'm going to need to hire. Some people just want to volunteer and contribute because it's something simple. And so there's, we have audio engineers, we have civil engineers, we have supply chain experts, we have people that have just made suggestions of, Six Sigma, that I thought was pretty, Lead Six Sigma, which is something I probably want to go through. So just all these interesting things and all these interesting topics. I'm not going to lie, it does stress me out quite a bit. I get, I'm like, oh shoot, I feel responsible to honor their volunteerism, or honor the knowledge, and I can only take so much input. But just know that if anybody ever comments or makes an email, I read everything. I almost respond to everything, and sometimes I don't make a big, long, drawn-out response, but I'm taking it in, the positive, the negative. I'm taking it all in like crazy. And if I took in too much of the negative, and if I wavered from my, not my stance, but wavered from my direction, then, the whole thing's going to come freaking crashing down, and I'll be back in the corner shivering again. I'm just not going to do that. So, yeah, I'm going much more philosophical on your rather simple question here, but it's overwhelming me a bit because I've got these cool projects that I'm doing, which is what I think I need to be. It needs to be the lead, the focus is the sharing of the projects and things like that. But the in the background, the developing of our next facility, which isn't going to be the end all be all facility. It's just our next step. It may be our last step, it may not, but it's our next step, and we'll modify it as needed. But it's not going to be perfect from the beginning. I don't have time to make it perfect. It's just got to be what it's going to be, and I'm going to try to get in as much of it as I can, with the help of this powerful group of people that's watching me fumble through life.
Right, and I think the great thing here is we have people who email, okay, I'm an audio guy, I'm the lighting guy, I'm an expert when it comes to this, I'm an expert, and they're willing to share that information, and it's great to be able to pull that, but you can't do everything all the time. And it's kind of like if anyone out there's ever built a house, and it sounds like a great idea, you get to do it from scratch, and you choose the cabinets, and you choose everything, and then like halfway through you're ready to quit because it's just so frustrating, because every time you change one thing, you got to get plans approved.
And it's easy if that's your sole focus.
Right.
But generally, people don't get to do that. They don't get to just shut everything else down and focus on that. It's just
still got a job and a life and a house and kids.
And this has been my fear from the beginning, and it's backfired on me 1,000 times already. in that, and we talked about this with the moderators and people coming to help and play with cool stuff and use the tools and all this stuff that I normally would have kept to myself. So now I have, like people helping me design the podcast studio, and I have this overwhelming fear that, man, I owe them something. And I keep telling myself that just let people contribute, and 1 out of 100 is going to feel like I used them. And I have to just be okay with that. It sucks. But I'm like, I just can't. I guess I could just become a conduit to just whatever money I make, just give it all away. But it's just not my nature. And maybe it would help if I published the day. I think people may think I have like $78 million in the bank or something. It's crazy. It's
77 million last I checked.
Right. It's freaking nuts.
All right. So before we get into some other those big topics, let me do a couple questions here, including this one here from Philippe. I'm sorry, Philippe, if I'm saying that. Are you two twins today wearing the same thing?
He doesn't know what I'm wearing.
Yeah, that's sneaky. He came in with a hoodie on and he hasn't taken it off.
Let's see, what do you got?
So,
if you pull this off, I quit.
I got the
yeah! No dice. Old original dialed in Obsessed Garage shirt.
I think he's just,
I didn't even think about that.
That's a shame.
This is good. That's funny. I was gonna take my sweatshirt off earlier, and I probably should now because I'm kind of sweaty. But I didn't even think ahead.
Yeah.
I'm getting hot.
So the streak, well, it was still like 3 out of 5 or something like that.
I'm gonna have to start thinking. Yeah, I've become this aloof, like maniac. Like normally I would have figured out a system around that, and as soon as you show the shirt, it's like I've already forgotten about it. This is crazy.
So sorry, Philippe. Sorry to everyone. I was foiled today. He never took off the hoodie when he came in. Let's see. Any plans or hopes to work on a vehicle with MONYC in the future?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm sure at some point we'll do something together. I don't think either one of us is too enthused about polishing cars. Yeah. I just did one this weekend, or two. We did the 1M and Adams RS. Man, it's freaking hard. I like Billy, or anybody who does this for a living. Man, I don't know how you do it. I'm freaking worn out.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's not an easy gig. It's a lot of work.
All right, this is from Spencer. I know Spencer. He's somewhere up in the Dakotas. Hey, Matt, just got the 1322 and was wondering if you run it dry for the recommended 20 seconds after disconnecting the inlet hose.
I don't, but it depends. It depends if I'm gonna put it away and put it in the cabinet. Then yeah, I usually do. And certainly when you're in minus 80 degrees or whatever the heck it is up there, you want to get as much water out as possible. So yeah, I generally just kind of run it for a little bit. It's not good to run it dry. I mean, it can. Some pumps you'll ruin them. You'll grenade them almost immediately. But at Krenza, you run it for a few 10, 15 seconds just to sort of shoot the water through it and then call it a day. It's not a bad practice to have. It also is good practice to flush the deionized water because it is a brass head. So the head of the pump is brass, and brass is one of the most susceptible to leaching from and rusting from deionized water. Think about it. I got water rushing through the thing. It's generally okay that doesn't have any mineral content, but if I have water sitting there, what the water's tendency is to pull in metals. And so if you have water sitting in the pump when it's cold, obviously that's bad because you can freeze and crack things, ruin your seals. And then, if you have deionized water sitting in there, it's leaching the metal out of your pump. And, then you end up with leaks and things like that as it leaches around the seals, and it just becomes problematic.
I know the answer to this one, so I'll answer this one. Hey, Matt, how's the Rupes stuff going? Did you get it yet? Yes, we're sending out the last of those Rupes orders today because we had to get the order.
Well, so we had the event, and then I told everybody it would take a couple weeks because this is pretty typical because a lot of times people order some obscure stuff, that we don't have. The stuff that we have, we ship out immediately. And then like the day that I got back, as I'm placing everybody's order, I order like $20,000, a giant pallet full of stuff. So they pack it, and because they are expecting my order, so I orchestrate this all from the event, and we place the order. Pallet ships like that. Either that, I think that afternoon it shipped, or maybe that next morning. So they process the order. Next morning it ships. So this is on like Tuesday. Pallet gets here on Thursday or Friday, I guess, and they dropped an atomic bomb on it, and we had to send it all back. So we had to refuse it. And so this was from any pending order that we try to manage the flow of inventory, and so some orders kind of sneak in there because we have this all planned out and mapped out day to day, and then the pallet gets here and I've never seen anything like it. They just destroyed the whole thing. It wasn't like, we can just pick a few things off the top and send them back. We had $14,000 worth of really expensive polishers, and nobody wants to get a jacked, even if the polisher was fine, nobody wants to get their $450 polisher in a jacked up box. I know I don't. And so we had to refuse it and send it back. And that's the first time we've ever had to do that. But that's constant issues of getting, the stuff product here and getting it out the door. But you better believe it. If we have it, I think very rarely, unless you order it at like 4 p.m., that sucker goes out the same day. Or if you did order it at like 4 p.m. and UPS showed up and we'd have it packed, you'd have tracking number. They pick it up next afternoon. So we're really good at that.
All right, easy question here for you. What was the program you were using when looking at the layout of OG HQ 3.0?
It's a Home Designer. So go to homedesignersoftware.com, and it is I think the standard. It's the $99 package. So whatever that is. And it works really well. You can buy some more sophisticated versions of it, but I never even spent any time learning how to use it. It's a lot easier, I think, than SketchUp, or whatever, I think SketchUp is the Google version. I find it easier to use than SketchUp. So that's the one that I use often.
Have you driven the 1M or the M3 since this weekend? How are they running now? Do you notice any differences?
Well, the 1M I drove it, and then it's rubbing crazy. So, we drove it home. We immediately started the M3. So I thought the M3 would take half a day. It took an entire day, and then I left at like 6 a.m. on Monday morning to go to Tampa, and so the 1M rubbed on the way home, but it does drive so much better. I can tell. I didn't get on it because it was rubbing. So I'm going to take the spacers off and hopefully drive it here soon. I'm probably going to have to blow out of here today to go wash some cars for the event this weekend. So they should probably have clean cars if I'm Mr. Obsessed Garage.
It's good. On the subject of clean cars, who has the dirtiest car at OGHQ, and could there be a washing series using the products? That's from Hunt. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's a battle between Michelle, you, and Bryce.
Michelle's the worst.
Yeah.
Speaking of Michelle, there she is in the comments. After those comments, I am totally coming at 1 o'clock today for that lunch date, so she'll be here. That's good. Good to
Canceled. I'm too busy.
All right. Your opinion on the looks of the new 992 Porsche 911?
I think it's cool. I like it. There's the only thing that's a little weird is the PDK little shifter, a little wart thing or a little knob. It's kind of goofy. I like being able to shift. I basically rest my hand on. People yell at me all the time. Rest my hand on the shifter and shift. So I shift my GT3 RS with PDKS more often with that than I do with the paddles. So that's the only thing that's a little bit odd. But other than that, I think it's fantastic.
When are your Bay Optics headlights arriving? What made you decide to go with them instead of a company like 180?
Well, OSS wasn't responding, so I'd reached the Bay Optics guy reached out to me on Instagram. That somebody tagged us together, and I had a conversation with him, and he was super responsive. And I like his style. The style of 180 is a little bit from and I'm sure they can do whatever I wanted to do, but 180 just appeared to me to be a little bit more showy, and so the guy at Bay Optics just. I don't know. He just spoke my language, and so he this is where I made the comment about poor and stupid. He was just so clearly used to dealing with young guys. They're trying to take their 318 Ti and put some showy lights on. So he was kind of dancing around the whole what it was going to cost to do it, and I just wanted it done, and so it was an interesting conversation with him. It's like, look, no, I want new lights. He's like, well, they're whatever they were, $1,000. I said, no, I want to do new lights, so that way if I ever sell the car, I'll get my money back. I'll be able to take the one out and then swap it, and then same thing with the 1M. So I ended up buying full sets of lights and everything. So it was an interesting interaction that we had when and then he's like, well, I can give you like $400 off. I was like, oh, that's sweet. So when I'm saying I'm used to dealing with I'm not used to dealing with companies that have to deal with poor and stupid people. What I'm really talking about is not having to deal with people or companies that have to deal with just young guys that are modifying their cars, that are doing all kinds of weird janky crap, and they're used to trying to young guys are trying to get payment plans and do all kinds of crap. I've done it many times where I bought a $300 head unit and couldn't pay my insurance. That's just
priorities.
It's just stupid. That's the dumb thing to do, and most of us have done it. And so, but yeah, the Bay Optics lights should be here. The one that the M3s are done, so he's shipping those out. They look awesome. And maybe we'll find.
So
a
is that like I don't know anything about this. Is that like a week-long process? Do they have to make them from scratch?
So he ordered new headlights from Germany, so OE BMW headlights. Then they bake them and pull them apart. So I don't know what process, but I'm assuming he bakes them. So the seals, the glue around the lens, the plastic part comes off, and then he takes them apart. And he paints them. So the housing right now, there's a bunch of chrome, like shiny stuff. So they paint that all black, and then he pulls out the circles. The angel eyes are glass, and so he pulls those out and puts in an LED, a full LED strip, because the glass is just a glass tube, so it looks kind of splotchy. The light doesn't pass through it as nicely, and so they put an LED ring around it. I opted for round rings, so it looks the part. And then he put new lenses so that you get more clarity. And then I put new bulbs in. I'm a little nervous about the bulbs because I chose to do the latest. They're 7000K, so they might end up being a little bluish purple, but we'll see. I can always change the bulbs out. And then he changes the turn signal, and so the whole housing is just completely redone. And so he bought the headlights, had to wait for the headlights to come. So that it took a week or so, 2 weeks. I think I ordered them three weeks ago, so he's pretty quick. And then he assembles them and then ships them. So the 1M1s aren't done yet, but the M3s are. So he shipped them, I think, yesterday or something like that. So the new set of lights are $1,100, and then all of his parts and pieces and lenses, and so each one I think was like $2,200 for the whole light assembly. Because what a lot of people will do is they'll take their lights out and send them in and have them done, but then you're down for weeks. Maybe at least a couple of weeks, and I don't want to do that. I want to do it all at once, and so luckily I have the means and the justification, and that these videos make money by me making them, so I can make a video, and it helps him, it helps me, everything's good.
Gotcha. I can answer a quick question here. When are you going to start shipping to Europe? We do. So if you have something, we don't ship certain products to Europe because of either we're asked not to by the supplier, or for some other reason. So if you have something specific you're looking for, you can email me, Chris at Obsessed Garage, and I can help you work through that. Could the E46 M3 ever be possible as a project car?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that would be a much, I think, a little bigger project, because chances are I'd end up buying a janky one and have to really, dial it in. I mean, I guess I could search for a really pristine example. I don't know. I mean, that was a car that I really, really wanted. I just never got, so it doesn't hold as much nostalgia for me because I didn't have one. Yeah, maybe someday.
Okay. Now we got a couple questions. We mentioned this last week because last week we had just kind of sent in the paperwork on Comet and Karcher. machines. So are there any updates? We have some people asking about when that stuff's going to be available.
I think Comet shipped today, so I had them rebox all of them. So it took quite a while to get it because the boxes they come in are really janky. So I'm hoping they're decent. And we're going to ship them. I don't want them to drop ship them. The goal is I'd like to not drop ship Krensley either because then we get them out a little quicker and have control and get tracking faster and all of that. I just don't even know where to put them yet. So the Comets are actually going to be at my house. So I'm going to be putting them in my darn bathroom. But Bryce is working through the packages, getting some packages set up for it so we have all the right product to be able to, so you can make the choice whether you want to keep it as is or you want to modify it. And then once I start selling them, it's going to take a while, but hopefully we can get it to where they change the fittings. Mike, who you guys see in the videos often, my friend Mike is working on, he was trying to help me figure out we need to convert BSP to NPT to GHT in order for the inlet, because the inlet is really funky, and if you put a quick disconnect on it, there's not enough room to put your inlet hose. And so we want to try to figure out a way to get a 90 so we can get the connection on the front of it. So if you're mobile or you're carrying it around, you don't have to put it on some sort of milk crate or something like that. And that's where there's lots of places selling Comet, lots of places selling Karcher. So where I think I provide the value is, it's hard to figure this out, and I'm going to have to spend. I've already bought 6 or 8 parts to try to figure this out, and so I think that's where my place to provide value is to teach people how to do it, and then you'll have the option to configure it however you want. Do you want do you want a $25 gun or do you want the $110 Mosmatic? What do you want to set up with it? But it's a neat machine. I would highly recommend if you're if money isn't the main driver, buy the Krensley. It's a better pump, better machine, more rebuildable, the whole deal. But the Comet does have some advantages, in that mid-price point. I just pray that we can get them to make it without all the junk that they send it with at some point. That's the goal.
All right, so Comet are on the way soon. Karcher,
yeah, they're a little slower to get our dealership thing set up, so I don't know. Karcher will be a little longer. And by the time we get them, hopefully the goofy Amazon sale will be off, where they're selling for like $90.
They're on sale at Sam's right down the road too, actually.
Oh, great. So, yeah.
I didn't buy one, if that makes you feel any better. This is a really good question that I wanted to hear your response to. How do you determine when a product or project is not worth investing your time in? And tell us about a time a project led to a dead end and or was a waste of time. Was it still worth pursuing? I have to think about that one.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, in the past, it's always one at a time, right? So this is what's changed so drastically. I never understood why Adam LZ was always so chaotic. Like, he always had all these things going on. And I'm like, dude, you don't even have a job. Like, just pick and keep organized. I completely get it now. It's like, it's impossible to explain this is what I do, is just create content and then chase stuff. And then I have a greater vision for what this business that doesn't exist could be. And what, I think I know what people want. I can't deliver on all of it. And so the prerequisite, and this has taken me some learning to figure out how to make this work, because just today, how many emails did I have from different Porsche guys trying to give me stuff and wanting me to try stuff. And so there's been this evolution from it was just me in my garage doing things by myself, and so a lot of the content you've seen up to this point has been me sharing just the stuff I've learned over the years from taking on one project at a time. And I finish things. So I start the project and I finish it. I start another project and I finish it. And then I morphed into with creating the store and creating the website and creating the Obsessed Garage brand, a lot of it by accident. But I've taken on all these little projects, the project of figuring out how to ship things, the project of how do I build the Shopify store, the project of how do I get t-shirts ordered and firing different companies to get them and getting samples and things like that. So all these various projects started to add up, combined with companies giving me free stuff, wanting me to do reviews. And so I've fumbled through this. Like if you go back and watch the Ben Pack, the lift video, whatever that, quick jack, you can see I put the wrong fluid in. I just didn't feel, I didn't want the thing. and they just kept trying to get me to get it, and I just didn't want anything to do with it. And so it was garbage. The video I made was terrible, and you could just see it in my face. And I made one other video in the very beginning where some guy sent me all of his washing crap, and I made a video of it, and I didn't want anything to do with the stuff. It's just so I've figured out a formula that if I don't want it, like if I don't want to buy it, then I don't chase the project. And so say what you want about me, but the stuff that I have is stuff that I wanted to buy and did buy, and now I'm providing people the ability to buy it from me in a much, much better format. Even though none of it's perfect, none of it's the complete vision of what I have, the whole purpose of this is all stuff that I wanted to buy. And this is where it gets a little fuzzy. Like the Karcher 1700 is something that I don't want to buy, so I'm a little fuzzy on this, and that I would have wanted to buy it at one point in my life. I don't now. And so I'm in this weird limbo where, okay, so now I know don't take free stuff because I don't want it. Only take free stuff that I want, which never happens because all the stuff I want, they don't do for free. And so I only take stuff that I want, and then I share it, and then I decide whether it's a project that I want to take on. But the problem is now I have 37 of those going on at the same time. Bottles, shelving, guys making some stainless steel plates for our hose reels to make them easier to mount. The interior package, lighting, the Defelsco paint depth gauge, of course the 2 cars that I have. So I'm taking on more and more and more, and I have to manage that. So I have to, and I get hit up every day for somebody, hey, I got this new cool car that I'd love to detail, but I just can't. I mean, I need to, all 4 of my cars need something at some point. So the 1M's done now finally, so I'm down to 3 cars that need to be detailed. So that's kind of how I process it. And it's very different for me now than it was before my business was, and my career is now projects. But I like to think that I execute on them eventually. And some of them, it's not me. Like I would have executed on bottles much sooner if I could have. It just didn't. I didn't find the right thing, even though I chased it.
Well, speak to that now that you mentioned it, because those are coming.
Yeah, they're incoming. The more I use them, the more I'm fearful that I'm going to be stuck with $15,000 worth of bottles. They're really, again, I keep going back to this. They're really good. I think you want them. I think you want to try them. I think they're the best that we have. But I think you're going to see the same things that I see. There's some things that we need to improve. I say this for the 15th time. The only way for us to get them to improve is to buy them and then show that we want them, and then we can go to the company and say, fix this. But that's going to be a lot of bottles in, and we may never get there. So, but for now, I mean, I would be interested. Like if somebody was talking about these bottles, and I said they're pretty darn good, and so one guy asked a question. He said, well, why are you selling them? If they're not the perfect, then why would you do it? It's the same thing with the lighting solution. And I'm downplaying a little bit because they are pretty freaking awesome. Just like our lights are pretty awesome, but they're not like what I want them to be longer term. And so I guess that's the folly in me oversharing a bit much. But I think the only way for us to do this is to get them, try them, play with them. Some people will probably end up modifying them themselves. And then we'll show the world that there's a market for this stuff. And I need help for that because like I said, I just can't drop $2 million and just go make the bottle. I just don't have it. I can't pull from my 77 million. How am I going to get to 80 million if I spend $2 million on bottles?
Well, here's another project that we're kind of in the middle of that Jonathan's asking about. Have you considered carrying or selling more Prevost products? Those U.S. resellers out there are not very good and are disorganized. It'd be nice to be able to get more fittings, etc.
Yeah, Bryce, what's going on with that?
Hey,
Get moving.
I got a stack 12 feet high over here.
Yeah, I have everything. We're building it one at a time. So
I got 4 blowguns waiting. We need to get inventory on, and there's 3 more that I need to get done.
Bryce is telling us, for those who can't hear, we have stuff here in the store, products. blowguns, etc. But we're
It's not live.
it's on the list. Yeah, they're not live yet. As he gets them in there, they'll be in the store.
Yeah, but if you want it, just tell me, and just either make a list or tell me you want me to make you a list, and we have everything, or I'll get everything. We probably have it all, and I've been designing all kinds of systems for people one off at a time. But yeah, that there certainly needs to be this needs to exist because this stuff is amazing. Like, it's just great. And so we're building it out in the midst of working on the bucket package configurator, in the midst of me slapping the Comet on Bryce's desk. This is why I'm searching for another graphic designer. So that's my call. If you want to come work for me, work for OG, I need a graphic artist.
And know how to use Shopify.
Yeah, well, you can learn Shopify in an afternoon. It's we need you to learn. I need someone who can illustrate. That's what I need, and then someone can edit videos or at least figure it out.
All right. Let's talk about one more question here that just came up related to that Prevost. What do you think about MTM stainless fittings versus some of the chrome-plated fittings from Prevost? What's the differences there?
I haven't really played with the Prevost. The big thing in the Prevost is it's auto shut off. They have an auto shut off version, but they're not interchangeable. So if you're going to do the Prevost, you have to do all Prevost, or if you're going to do the MTM, you have to do all MTM. They're bulky. They're kind of big and heavy, so you have to have the right application for the Prevost. Like, it would work on your hose bib. But if you have some Flexzilla hose or something like that, it's not going to go well. It's going to kink the end of your line because it's bulkier. Reminds me a lot of like the Ely. The Ely quick disconnects are really beautiful, and they're really stout and built well, but they're just too big and bulky. That's why I've done the Chinese MTM ones, both either the stainless or the brass. So they're good. I think it's worth a try. I don't think I would buy the non-valve. The whole point of it is when you pop it, it seals and closes, shuts off the water, so you don't have to turn the bib off. So it can work, but they're not. They're a lot more money, and they're just chrome plated. So they're not. If they were stainless, I think it'd be game over. But they're just chrome plated, whatever, brass. Not quite as nice. So it really comes down if you need something where you need an auto shut off as soon as you pop it. Pop the quick disconnect off. But you'll need all new plugs for all of your stuff. We're going to have to order more of those because I only bought a few of them. I didn't think anybody cared about them. But I do think it's worth buying the set and trying it out. Then if you like it, then you can replace all of your stuff with it. I haven't played with it as much yet.
Let me address one question that came up here with regard to international shipping from Eric. How would I be able to buy from the store when I have non-English letters in both my name and street name? So, Eric, if you go to the store in the bottom right corner, there's a little flag. And if you click on that flag, you can change to your country. And that through that process, that'll help translate some of that stuff for us. Because we send stuff to Japan and Taiwan, and there's all sorts of funky characters, but we make it work. It's a process sometimes, but we make it work. So talk a little bit about what you did this past few days. You've been working on a big project and speaking highly of the results and the people involved. So what all happened there with Adam Elzy and his new car?
Yeah, so you got a lava orange, which I kept saying was a paint to sample. It's not a paint to sample. I didn't realize that. It's just a color that no one bought because everybody got it on the previous gen. Lava orange, Visoc package, so it has carbon hood, non-painted carbon hood, carbon roof instead of magnesium, and carbon wing. So we had to decon it, correct it. There's lots of hologramming from the rotary polishing they did at the Porsche factory, plus some scratches and swirls from the delivery center washing it a bunch. And so we corrected it, two-step correction, and I did it at Presidential, which is Billy's company down in Tampa. And then we took and partnered with, who is Billy's partner, is Ryan Burrows from Auto Paint Guard, we did Suntech Ultra, PPF, and then we took it back over, and we decided to do G-Technic Crystal Serum Ultra, which is the pro only coating, just to experience it. I screwed it up and did there was a couple of high spots Billy had to fix, and we had to compound out, created a whole other myriad of problems. And then we scratched the paint because there was some leftover coating on a towel, and it was just a whole mess, and so we had to fix the whole door again. So that took 2 extra hours last night. We did wheels off and coated those, and it's the best detail I've ever been a part of, and we, of course, Esoteric and I did my car. And so the polishing was very similar, and the PPF, Ryan's been doing it for 25 years or something like that. It's just amazing to watch him do it. So Adam's car is really, really, I mean, we coated every plastic part, every piece, everything is completely dialed in. The exception of the interior. I told him I'm not doing your freaking interior. You do that yourself. There's nothing to do in the interior. Just vacuum it and clean the glass. He's on the window tinted anyway, so the window tinters will take care of the glass. But yeah, the car looked amazing. I think I'm done with wax. So let that resonate for you. I mean, I think I'll still carry it and still have it, but I think I'm done putting wax on my cars after that. Yeah, really dig Crystal Serum Light. I think Crystal Serum Ultra is probably not worth the payoff. If you're going to pay somebody to do it who has experience, I can now see why a pro-only coating, and I knew this, that some of them are finicky. I just didn't think it would be worth the effort. Why do we have to, my argument has been, why do we have to have this pro-only stuff? But Ultra is, I mean, the chances of you messing it up are really, really high. The payoff, I would say, is maybe a 15% difference between that and Crystal Serum Light from how it looks. I don't give a crap about longevity. I don't need it to last 5 years. It's not going to look good 5 years from now anyway. It might still be on there, but in 18 months to 2 years is all I really need, if that. And so we did this car. I mean, this car was just ridiculously awesome. We just nailed it.
So what are his plans then for that car? Is that going to be something he just sort of puts in a showroom somewhere, drives it? He's not going to be drifting in Japan?
No, he's not going to drift it. It's just going to be his, it's the first car he's bought new. It's the first car that he, bought for himself. Every other car he's bought has always been for some other purpose. And so he's gonna take it to the mountains. He'll probably take it to the track every so often, and he's gonna, it's gonna be his car. I'm sure it'll be in videos and things like that. Originally, he wasn't gonna share it, but there's just no way that was gonna happen. So yeah, it really makes me want a .2 RS. I mean, just looking at the rear suspension, I actually called a couple of people when I was there.
I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna come home with one.
Yeah, the carbon fiber sway bar and and the new axle lift system. It's incredible. They just looking at the underside of the car, you can see the improvements they made over the .1. It's I'm probably not going to get one, but I would like to.
Maybe get his one day.
I don't want orange. What's that? Is orange stitching? I tried to talk him out of that.
Yeah, lots of people here are surprised by that revelation about wax. Would you still give up wax for black paint?
Yes, especially for black paint. Yeah, it's a conundrum. I said it on camera, like it just came out of my mouth, like it wasn't something that, and what it is a transition from the original coatings. We're seeing a transition happen, and I don't know the chemical difference, but take that 5 layers of ceramic pro silicon dioxide, that coating look, the old sea quartz look, the products are changing. And so they're, and then something like G-Technic has an advantage over all of them, and it's really, really slick right out of the box. And so a lot of the things that I love about wax, the depth, the clarity, the lack of synthetic look, that slickness, the ability to run your hand across it, is now being caught up to. So you're getting, a lot of the benefits without the cons. And then, the other thing that's moderating me a bit is I still got freaking water spots anyway. So, one of the disadvantages to coatings is their water spot susceptibility. of course, you'd lose the ability to rub on your car every 6 months. So it still needs to exist, wax, I think. But yeah, I'm moderating. This is the evolution. I was waiting for the products to be, Kamikaze ISM is great. Miyabi's great. The G-Technic stuff. There's certain things about Kamikaze I think is still better. I think it still looks a little wetter. But it tends to be much, still grabby. So even though it's the ISM is a little better looking, I think that like CSL or Crystal Serum Ultra, if you're doing a pro do it, that's my favorite option. I've seen them all. I like it better than Gion. I like it better than, whichever of Gion's 10 coatings you want to talk about. I don't know. Some of them I haven't seen. I like it better than C-Quartz. I like C-Quartz. Yeah. It's a big change.
And that was in Tampa.
Yeah.
Presidential. That's the name of the place, right?
Yep.
So
Auto Paint Guard. So it's all one big company. And then, there's a bonus video you guys are going to love, which is dent removal from Mike, who's like one of the best dent people in the planet. So they've accumulated like this mass of, they're all independent contractors. So they all, Ryan owns all of the facility, all the buildings. And then these guys basically, Billy and Mike, and they basically pay rent. But they all, instead of being, which is brilliant, instead of being in one business where one guy's in charge, they all have their own businesses. And so you're getting like best in class from each. So I say frickin' ship your car from Chicago. Well, maybe Chicago has Chicago Auto Pros, which are super legit, but it's a bad example. But if you're in...
Anywhere in the Southeast?
Yeah, certainly. But there's a good detailer in pretty much every town, but these guys have my stamp of approval, that's for sure. Let's hope I don't say something stupid to hack them off. But yeah, I got to get back down there because Billy has Sabre cabinets that we got to mount, which will be a fun little project too. So that's we killed it. It's the best detail I've ever been a part of. The Adam's car is incredible. We just killed it. It's amazing.
Here's a question kind of related to that. Considering how often you still like to mess with top layer protection and new coatings, etc., is the coating layer just a foundation layer at this point? We all like messing with paint too much to stop.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, in 18 months, you're going to have to pull it off, and so you have to. With this is the common misconception with a coating with regular people is that just the average consumer is that you just put it on and everything's great. But if you want it to look good, you've got to maintain it more than a wax. You've got to really work at it. You got to use different soaps and reset it occasionally, and you have to really maintain it. Otherwise, you're going to scratch it and have to try to get it off, and that can be problematic.
Quick question. Are the garden hoses compatible with BSP fittings?
No. You'd have to convert. And as far as I can find, nobody makes BSP. There's BSPP, which would be parallel threads, and BSPT, which are tapered threads. So you have to know which one's which. And then you have, to convert to NPT. And then, so in order to get BSP to GHT, which is what my garden hoses have, garden hose thread, then you would need to convert BSP to NPT to GHT. So you'd have this whole giant bulk of connections.
And enlighten me and some others. The B, that's British?
Yeah, British Standard Pipe.
Okay.
And then there's British Standard Pipe Parallel, British Standard Pipe Taper. And maybe someone can correct me here. I think that the thread type is a G-type thread. So I think BSP has G-type. I don't know, or maybe G-type is something different, but that's another European type of fitting, which is a metric type fitting, and it gets complicated. NPT is National Pipe Thread, which is the U.S. standard, but then garden hose are garden hose thread, which is a coarser, much further distant. There's the gap between the threads is much greater.
Here's a good question for you. This sounds like something you would ask.
Stupid question.
No. How many pads do you find yourself using per application since you blow them out? I'm trying to justify buying an air compressor.
Even blowing them out, I still use probably 8 on a car, 6 to 8. As it gets loaded up, so every couple of panels, you just get rid of it. Or you pick up some dirt or something like that hit the rubber trim or something, then you want to swap it out. So 8 of each type. So, in my cabinet, I'm going to have 8 microfiber cutting from Meguiar's, 8 of each of the wool types of Rupes. So the Rupes coarse wool and Rupes medium wool. Then I'm going to have 8 of the yellow and 8 of the white Rupes. I'd skip the green and the blue. You'll never use those. And those would be the pads that I'd have now, and I'd have them in each size that I needed. So you're going to have $1,000 worth of pads to do it right. So, or maybe not quite that much, but you're going to have quite a bit of money invested in pads. Now if you're on a budget, what you could do is buy 2 of them and wash them. So as you're going through, so if you needed 8, you need to wash each of them a couple of times to get through the car. So that's another thing you could do, even if you're blowing them out.
Let's talk about this weekend coming up.
I'm totally unprepared, and we're going to just wing it and see what happens. This is that's partly by design. I just want people to show up and come and hang out. It's not going to be like a live band and bull crap that nobody cares about. We're not going to cook some terrible food. Go get some food at the delicious Chick-fil-A down the street. And Chick-fil-A is never good, even if I bought it and put a nugget platter out there. It's not going to taste good. It's going to be all soggy by the time you get here. So, this is BYOF. Bring your own food.
Chick-fil-A that way, Subway that way.
Yeah, exactly. No, Subway's nasty. Don't go to Subway.
So this is the open house we're referring to. It's going to be on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll figure out what we're going to do for parking. I have no idea what's going to happen. You're supposed to go give people cookie platters next door. So go figure that out for me. Now that I don't need to buy any buildings anymore, I don't need to talk to any of those people. So we're going to figure out the parking situation, and it's going to be awesome. I got a bunch of crap I need to sell. We'll do a quick live stream. I'll probably do one on Sunday of what I have left. I suspect I'm not going to have anything left. So sorry to you that are out of town. They're trying to get a sweet deal. And I'll put it up there afterwards. I was sad because I was hoping I had enough cool stuff, and the problem is I'm going to end up giving everything away dirt cheap. I get peer pressured. I was hoping to get enough money so I could buy the 77-inch OLED, but that's not going to freaking happen. I'm going to make like $800 on all of my thousands of dollars worth of cool stuff.
So there's going to be the OGHQ is open. People can come in, take a little tour.
8 a.m. till I'm tired of you people. So
9:30. Then you can
a.m.
You can buy products here. We have our new fancy POS iPad.
POS is such a bad name.
Yeah, point of sale, not the other POS. But we have that. So if you want to come buy stuff, that'll be open. We can do that. We also have, there's a total, I'm looking here now, 14.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Of the pressure washer packages still available. We have one guy who's actually coming to pick one up at open house. So if you're considering that, they'll be here. We have a few left here.
SPX 1000, 2598, SPX 3000 Max, and the 3501. You can't do the kit on the 3501. You just do that. Those are the Sunjos. Karcher's K3, K2, K2 Plus, K4. Another K4, which I have is brand new. I never opened it. I didn't even know I had a new one. So somehow I snuck in an extra K4. K5, the AR 111S, 112S, 142S, and 240S. So basically all the crappy ones are left. So, but it really doesn't matter as much when you get it set up with the Ultimate Kit. They all perform similarly.
Yeah, essentially, you're paying for the kit and just getting the pressure washer thrown in.
Yeah, and then I'm shipping it for free, so I'm losing money on them. But whatever, I just want them out of here.
And it always happens that people that want to buy your stuff live in like California or Seattle, the farthest.
It cost me $80 to ship. I'm like, dang it. Yeah, and that's what happens.
All right, let's see a couple other questions we got here. I
can't tell if there's going to be like 400 people show up or no one, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, I think there'll be at least like 5 people here, and that's plenty.
I think it's going to be a lot. I'm afraid that we're going to screw this up, and the police are going to come and all this, shut us down.
Yeah, and Bryce is typing in there now. If you're in the Facebook group, there's an event. It's kind of tagged at the top of the page, so you can go there, learn a little bit more about the details, and RSVP if you want to. let's see here. Mark III had a couple folks asking questions about that. They're coming out, I think, in March. Is that right?
Did you order some?
I haven't yet because we can't order them yet. But
Oh, we can't?
No.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure that we need to get our order
Right.
in so we're not like behind everybody else,
No.
and then all the ones I've already sold, people get screwed. I don't want to be behind and like make people wait when they see everybody getting their beautiful new machines.
no, we're good. I emailed Dylan the other day, so we're
Okay. So they'll give us the order, but yeah, I think you want one. I think I need one, so you better get me one too.
So those come out. Those are $435 for the 15, and then $465 for the 21.
We probably need to put the ES in the store as well. I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Mark II. I'm always preferring people to other places when I could sell it myself, because it's a good, it's like $150 less. It's a good way to start, good entry level option.
We had a question about, and I know we have at least one of these about testing Briggs & Stratton machines.
Yeah, they suck, but I'm gonna get them at some point. I need some time. I need some time to mend and heal from the pressure washer debacle. I'm waiting on the 1700s, and then I'm gonna make the wrap up of here are the ones I think you should get. Just K1700, Ryobi 1600. Greenworks 2000. Those are the three. Those are the three that of those three, those are the ones that I would pick. Get the K1700 cube, figure out how to make a bracket for it, put that on the wall for your wall mount option. You could probably wall mount the Ryobi 1600 as well. So those are the three out of the 51 or 52 that I tried. Those are the best options, I think. I think the one Greenworks, that brushless one that did 1.9 gallons per minute, it's just too many quirks for it to be worthwhile. And it's like $280 or something like that. So I don't think I would do that.
Update on the Rupes
Yeah, where are we at on
advanced training. No change since last week for anyone who tuned in last week. There's 7 people currently registered for the Monday-Wednesday part of the course. And then 2 people registered for Wednesday through Friday.
Shoot, I better get cracking on this. We're running out of time.
So that is, the dates are mid-March. Let me pull up the calendar here. So give the
It was the 13th, I think. Something like that. 11th to the 13th, and then the 13th through the something or other.
Yeah. 11th through 13th is Monday, Wednesday, then 13th through 15 is Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah. Please sign up for that. It's going to be amazing. I know it's a lot of money, but it's just going to be incredible. So worst case, we'll try to convince the other 2 guys to come, and we'll do one course, and I'll come out for 3 days instead of 5. But I think it'll sell out. I hope it does.
All right, next week, what's coming up? You got a trip to Sonic, I think, in Dinan.
Yep, Sonic. I'm going to be showing you the MSS Plus stuff. Digging into, I use the Sonic 3/4 inch breaker bar for the Porsche Billy has. That thing is freaking awesome. I want to get rid of my precision instruments and get one of those. In fact, I need to call them and get one of those right now because it's amazing. So I'm going to be touring, dealing with Sonic, figuring out, what our future plans are, and then touring Dine-In. So that's Thursday and Friday. So I don't have a lot of time to hang out. So I know people wanted to meet up, but that's in Auburn. So I'm touring Dine-In APR. So you'll have to watch the video because I'm in and out. I come in Atlanta, drive over, and then do the stuff with Sonic, probably have dinner with Sonic, and then Friday go and tour Dine-In, and then back to the airport and home. I hate traveling. God dang it, I hate this. I wish I could just teleport there. I want to just stay home. Luckily, an OG or Trevor is going to pick me up from the airport and shuttle me around so I can stay sane.
Do you have a ride to the airport yet?
No. I'll have to figure that out. You're just trying to get to drive one of my cars. That's what you're trying to do. Yeah. I think I'm going to have to drive myself.
All right. Speaking of Sonic, because I've had a couple emails about this, what are the current lead times or wait times when it comes to if you're going to order an array of cabinets? Do you know?
Just like any cabinet, we're 6 to 8 weeks until we build stock. So that's been the problem, is that I've basically created shock waves in the system by putting them in the store and selling them to lots of people. That's why I still haven't gotten my countertops. I think they finally came, so I think they're shipping today. So my center cabinet and my countertops will hopefully be here next week. So you're 6 to 8 weeks, say, to get them. It's worth, even if you have to wait the rest of your life, they're worth it. I think it's amazing. But we're building stock, and that's part of the reason why I'm going up there when I try to predict and try to get stock. And a lot of the cabinets that I want, that I think I'm recommending people get, no one else wanted. So like corner cabinets are key. For most people's garages, you need a corner cabinet as you're making a turn, and they had none of them. That's why I'm still mine just came. So yeah, I know a couple of guys have been waiting patiently for quite some time for theirs, but they're again, I think it's worth the wait.
Have you found any replacement for Nexet Cockpit Premium?
Yeah, Griot's interior cleaner. Adams is good too, but I like Griot's the best. Yeah, that's been my favorite.
Can DI water be used for diluting products instead of distilled water?
I believe so, yes. I don't think there's any disadvantage to that. I think the difference is DI can still have bacteria or distilled. I'm speaking out of my rear. I don't know. I don't remember the difference between the two. I think it's just how it's mineral removed. How the mineral content is removed from it. I see you have the tire inflator on there.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty cool.
A quick little video with Mike when he helped you put that in.
I didn't look up what it cost beforehand. I should have known.
You just guessed.
Well, I met the Haltech guys at SEMA, and then I saw these tire inflators. I'm like, that's freaking cool. I'd love to have them in my garage. I didn't ask what it cost. And they said, well, we love your videos. Can we send you one? And I'm like, yeah, sweet. So this is another one of those things. Like, I wanted it, but it was on the longer list of projects. I was waiting to get that whole area set up. I was waiting for my cabinets. I kind of wanted to do all at once, and got the cabinets, and then I'm waiting on the countertop. So it's turned into like a year and a half waiting to share this darn thing. And then I had two of them, so I put one of them up there, and I sent the other one, the red. So I had the red one and the blue one. I put the blue one up. I sent the other one home with Mike, so Mike's gonna put it in his garage and play with it, and give me some feedback on his thoughts on how it works. Is it worth $1,000 or $800 or depending on where you buy it from? Certainly not, but it's freaking cool. It's neat to and yes, could you get more precise if you had a handheld one? So yeah, but it's neat to just plug it into the tire and boom, it fills it up. People are complaining about the time. It takes 25 seconds or less. But yeah, it's freaking cool. I think it's cool to just have it on the wall. I don't know.
Something you didn't know you needed until you had it.
Exactly. Right. Now I love it. I think it's great. If you're, if you're building a dream garage, you're building a garage like what Nick has. I mean, you just, some people get so bent out of shape about cost of things, and you don't. For certain people, that's one of the hot buttons. It's something that they would be willing to invest in. And up until this point, I was never one that could have everything. Now I kind of do because it makes business sense. But it's one of those things. If you have everything and you're looking for something really neat, and you like that, you're into that. I think it's a cool thing to know about. I didn't know about it, so there you go. Now I have one on the wall, and I think I smile every time I see it. I think it's great. But I did in the video. I thought it was like $300. I'm like, yeah, I think this is like $200 or $300. And yeah, then I went and looked it up. I'm like, ooh, people aren't gonna like that. They're gonna give me a hard time on that one. So sorry about that.
All right, I had a couple questions, and I got an email today actually about some of those, the K4, K5 Karchers that have special connections. What's the time frame? Do we have stuff out there to help make the work for them?
We have everything. I just have to go make it. So next week I'll be working on that, hopefully. Everything's next week with me. So yeah, I gotta go just put it on the shelf and just kind of, or put on my countertop and just dig through. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Here's how it's gonna connect. But we have it. So if you want it, just email Chris and he'll figure it out. He'll come to me and I'll tell him what to do.
Let's see. That's all I got for questions right now.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean that's about what we got going on. So open house, I got to go get all the stuff out of the attic, get the stuff from my house, get some price tags on it. I got to go bed the brakes on the M3. I got to put it up on the lift and just check a couple things out real quick. Mike suggested I do, and I'm just gonna keep doing my thing, and I'm keep hacking people off and keep making other people happy. It's a yin and yang that I now live.
And kind of going back to what we mentioned earlier today, this afternoon, you got a phone call with a guy about lighting, trying to find a better lighting solution. Next week, we have a phone call scheduled about podcasting, audio, making sure all that stuff is dialed in. If we do a podcast like this or a YouTube live next week, it will not be on Thursday because you'll be gone. So
yeah, we'll have to do it Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll do it Tuesday or Wednesday next week. So those of you who put these on your calendar and you plan weeks in advance, it's not going to be Thursday next week.
I think most people watch it after the fact. If people are watching it, though, it's good, so I think we keep doing it. And podcasting will become more and more prevalent here as time goes on, as I build this out, as some of the chaos slows and I continue to add more people to take more weight off of me to allow me to focus on things like this. But for the time being, we're kind of rowing the boat together here. So if we keep selling like we've been selling, we've been on a pretty crazy streak. If we keep, people keep supporting us, then we'll keep growing it, keep casting the vision for the next person, to help take some weight off of me, to then for me to drive it forward, to project manage it, to truly become, and I don't like this term when you're running a small business. I think it's a little bit goofy, but to truly become a CEO, rather than just the, I always used to think you should be in the front digging the ditch. Like I should be there showing everybody how to do it. Here's how you dig it, and digging at the front of the line harder and faster than everyone. The problem with doing that is then I steal the digging the ditch thunder from everybody, and it doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to continue to strive to be a leader rather than a doer. And there are certain things that I'll always have to do, but if I can focus and do more on what I'm doing, then the thing gets. I don't even care about bigger. I care about better. I want it to be better. I want the store to be better. I want the experience to be better. I want the shipping to be better. I want the answering the follow-up to be better. I want to build a call center so people can call in and get answers to things. I want all that to be better. And so that's what I'm working toward. I don't know where I was going with that, but I guess it's time to sign off because I'm starting to ramble.
Well, let me address one thing, then I'll ask you one quick question here to close. If you don't have Facebook, what is the best way to sign up and get info about the Summer OG Mountain event? If you just email me, Chris at Obsessed Garage, I'll figure out that answer for you.
Or set up a fake profile and sign up.
Yeah. Type in your name as Matt Mormon. And here you go. We'll close on this one. I think you've addressed this maybe before a while back. Do you miss the S2000 at all?
No.
There you go.
Case closed. That chapter's closed in my life. I'm glad I bought it. I'm glad I went through it. Otherwise, I'd be wanting it. It's kind of like the motorcycle thing. I bought it, case closed, experienced it, been there, done that, enjoyed it, and don't dislike it. It's just, it's done. I'm over it. I'm moved on to the next thing. And I really, really enjoyed the memory, and it probably should have stayed in the memory, but I needed to re-experience it. So yeah, great car, great experience. Still call myself an S2K guy. I'm a Honda guy through and through. But I've graduated, and it never makes sense to I'm not going to my high school reunion, so probably shouldn't reminisce. So anyway, thanks for watching this, guys. Appreciate it. I'm sure many of you will watch it later. And thanks for the couple of hundred of you that joined us here this afternoon and asked the questions. It helps us flow along. And I'm going to keep pushing forward. I hope to see some of you that are local or making the trip from wherever. I know some people are driving from the Carolinas and from elsewhere. Can't wait to hang out and make sure. Let me say this one last thing. Make sure that if I'm ever at a place and you're there, don't be a freaking baby. Come shake my hand, because I don't know what's going on. I'm oblivious to what people are doing. So come and punch me in the arm or something. That's what I want, because I don't know how to do it. You don't know how to do it, so you just have to. I know you've seen me. You know who I am, so just come and shake my hand, and then pull up a chair. That's another thing.
Gotta jump in feet first.
Yeah, if you ever come here, just pull up a chair. You sit down, and then eventually, if you see me fumbling with something, come grab the other end of it, hold on to it. That's what I want people to be able to do. The whole thing about how many shops have you gone to? You don't know about this, but how many shops have you gone to, and they're like, oh, you can't be in the back because of insurance? Well, bull crap. I'll pay 57 times more for insurance if I have to let people come in the back and be a part of it, instead of stand there looking through some glass on some stupid couch. We're never going to have a couch here, I can tell you that right now. No couches at Obsessed Garage ever, because there's no reason to sit down. We're all going to be working on stuff.
We'll hide one.
No couch.
No freaking, no couches. Yeah. Yeah, your dude wants it. Why do you need a couch in the garage? You should be working on crap. So I want people to come. I don't want people sitting on a couch. I want people to pull up a stool, and when you're up in it, maybe wouldn't be smart to be like underneath the lift, when I'm yanking on the, trying to get the wheel off. But get up in there, come and be a part of it. That's what I want. Let's say that I did build a detailing company, which after this weekend, I think I've decided not to do that. But I'm going to train my detailers how to manage people that are coming to watch them detail. And it's culture. It's a vibe that you give off. So it's, a lot of comments on YouTube are like, well, good luck with that. Then nobody's going to ever get anything done. Well, I think it's, if you train the client and you train the detailer, you train the employee. So if both sides are trained to know that, hey, don't mess with the time here. We got to get this done. And some people won't know. They don't have enough self-awareness to know that they're occupying too much time. But I'll teach people how to say, look, bro, I got to get this done. And if you do that and you do it responsibly, you speak what is rather than dancing around it, then everybody knows. Like, like a wealth manager, when I told clients, don't freaking call me, half jokingly. But then I gave some examples and explained to them what the rules of the rules of conduct were going to be. And then some people said, well, that's unacceptable. Then that's not the relationship I'm looking for. I want to be able to call you every day, all day, anytime. Same thing happens with HQ, with shipping, packing, shipping. I'm going to teach everybody how to manage that. And you just manage it by saying, then don't slow me down. And you can say it nicely. Just you're in my way. Get over here, and then let me pack this box, kind of thing. But I want you to see it. I want to show you how this works. And we can still be efficient. And even though we won't be as efficient, I want people to be able to be a part of it. So no freaking couches. That's my 2019 credo. No freaking couches, Chris.
We'll make a poster.
That's the story. So I'm done.
All right, so come see us on Saturday.
Yeah, streaming over.
Shake
Cut.
Matt's hand.
Peace out. I'm going to do it every time. It's my new outro.